Welcome to the U.S. Army Cyber Center of Excellence. I'm Major General Neil Hersey, Commanding General for the Cyber Center of Excellence in Fort Gordon. I want to thank you for your interest in how we prepare leaders for operations in the information environment, along with the current and emerging capabilities developed to support multi-domain operations. Allow me to start with a short background of the threat. For nearly 2 decades, our Army's focus has been on counterinsurgency operations. In both Afghanistan and Iraq, we have engaged in a different kind of warfare shaped by the evolution of technologies. These same technologies that have provided our adversaries many of the same advantages our forces have employed over a relatively long period of overmatch. We have learned many important lessons along the way, but our adversaries have been learning as well through studying our actions. Near-peer adversaries have invested in the development and employment of electronic warfare capabilities for well over a decade, while their leadership works to reform and modernize their armed forces. This investment is seen across all echelons, with potentially 3 or more times the electronic warfare capability at echelon compared to our current posture. As we look as far back as the Gulf War, we've learned our capabilities in large-scale combat operations are increasingly challenged. We've also learned that over the next decade, if we do not act, our ability to challenge our adversaries within cyberspace in the electromagnetic spectrum will continue to diminish. Today, the Cyber Center of Excellence, along with multiple partners across the Army and Joint Force, is addressing this challenge. As the Army has shifted focus to large-scale combat operations and addressing electronic warfare threats enabled by technology, the Cyber Center of Excellence has shifted in parallel to those efforts. We have transitioned focus of our capabilities from counter IED planning to full spectrum cyberspace and electronic warfare capabilities and operations. Capabilities that provide commanders options to maneuver across domains through cyberspace and in the electromagnetic spectrum. We are building capacity for the Army. We do this by starting electronic warfare accessions, by building the training base, by synchronizing and integrating efforts through partnership with Army Futures Command, FORCECOM, and others, by validating our concepts through prototypes, experimentation, demonstration, and equipping the force. But our efforts don't stop there. Soldiers remain at the forefront as our most valuable resource, and their training is absolutely essential to the success of the warfighter. Today, I will share how the Cyber Center of Excellence is accelerating emerging capabilities while synchronizing the manning, training, and equipping of a modernized and converged cyberspace, electronic warfare, and signal force at echelon. Let's begin with manning and building force structure. The Cyber Corps is growing. In order to provide the capabilities and capacity to deliver effects at echelon, the Cyber Corps is expanding joint training responsibilities, implementing new electronic warfare accessions with entry-level courses, and innovative recruiting approaches such as the Cyber Specialty Direct Commissioning. These are just a few of the efforts we are championing in order to build the Cyber Corps required for multi-domain operations. The Army has approved several critical design updates supporting large-scale combat operations and multi-domain operations, and several actions are underway to rapidly build capacity through fiscal year 29. A key component of the multi-domain task force is the I2Q's detachment. A specialized unit, the I2Q's provides integrated information, intelligence, cyber, electronic warfare, space, and signal capabilities organic to the task force. Already underway, the Army will field 3 detachments supporting U.S. Army Pacific and U.S. Army Europe, all with approved effective dates through 2025. At the corps level and below, the SEMA section was approved in January 2019, followed by approval for the electronic warfare platoon a month later, with implementation dates for Army growth stretching through 2025. 31 brigade combat teams will receive an electronic warfare platoon through FY23, along with 5 additional platoons aligned with Special Forces. The first 8 fieldings are ongoing this fiscal year. An EW Company Force Design Update is pending Army approval for the Corps. We will have electronic warfare at echelon. This rapid growth in force structure requires increased and synchronized growth of electronic warfare soldiers. Electronic warfare, or 17 ECHO, accessions will continue to grow over the next 4 fiscal years, with a target of over 2,300 trained and equipped electronic warfare forces through FY23. Cyber warfare soldiers assigned to Cyber Electromagnetic Activity, or CEMA sections, can both advise on defensive cyberspace operations posture and ensure op plans are linked from BCT through higher headquarters. Electronic warfare soldiers will work closely with the Signal Corps frequency managers to prevent fratricide and dynamically distribute and redistribute frequencies to assure open communications. Speaking of the Signal Corps, the Signal Regiment is transforming. First, the conversion of the Expeditionary Signal Battalions, known as ESBs, to ESB Enhanced is driving the implementation of a modernized, scalable, and tailorable signal force structure for 2028. Concurrently, the Signal School is building multidisciplined soldiers capable of adapting to solve complex operational challenge through a military occupational specialties convergence strategy. This approach allows for the convergence of the original 17 Signal military occupational specialties down to 13, targeting 2022 and continuing to converge to MOSs well before 2028. This convergence better enables both division and brigade level mission command in an expeditionary, in an austere, in a full spectrum, and in a decisive action environment. Headquarters Department Army approved the first phase of convergence, that's 17 to 13 occupational specialties, with an implementation date of 1 October 2021. The second phase, 13 down to 10 occupational specialties, is currently with Headquarters Army with an anticipated implementation date of 1 October 22. I've discussed the approach to rapidly man and structure a modernized capability, but let me emphasize that none of this would be possible without transitioning the education, the training, and how we develop leaders to conduct operations in a contested and complicated environment. A key example of transforming how we educate and train is the Cyber School's implementation of a new approach to learning. The Cyber School introduced an outcome-based education program to develop more agile, critical thinkers. The program provides students with select experiential learning models, while a distributed version control application ensures relevancy. In 2018, the Cyber School conducted several iterations of the Electronic Warfare Transition course, transitioning our standing active component electronic warfare soldiers into the Cyber Corps over a period of 18 months. In August of 2019, the Cyber School began a sessions for initial entry electronic warfare soldiers on Fort Gordon. Initial entry training provides the baseline theory to understand the electromagnetic spectrum, or the EMS, and effects, and technical competency for application of force in the EMS. The Cyber School continues the momentum to rapidly build capacity across the electronic warfare workforce with 6 classes through FY20 and an additional 24 classes in FY21. Warrant officers, or 170 Bravos, in the electronic warfare specialty should expect the first 28-week warrant officer basic course to begin on Fort Gordon in March of 2021, while the 12-week warrant officer advanced course is slated for January 21. For the Officer Corps, the first 17 Bravo electronic warfare qualification course began on Fort Gordon this summer. The Cyber School will continue to phase the consolidation of all electronic warfare education and training on Fort Gordon. The enlisted 17 Echo 2 and 3 level course will transition from 9 weeks to a 19-week advanced leaders course, with the first pilot course starting on Fort Gordon in late FY20, while an 8-week senior leaders course will start in early fiscal year 21. For the Signal Corps, the Signal School is advancing foundational training beyond internet technology or IT basics, while enhancing capabilities with rapid curriculum maintenance and assessing artificial intelligence technologies to support reform. In order to facilitate and provide the unique educational experience for our cyberspace, our electronic warfare, and our signal workforce, the Army broke ground in the spring of 2019 on the construction of a new state-of-the-art campus. But this isn't just about facilities. It's about the foundation to defend and maintain our network while operating across cyberspace and the electromagnetic spectrum. A foundation to enhance and build capacity and capability to project power across multiple domains and throughout the information environment. And with the recent relocation of the Army Cyber Command headquarters to Fort Gordon, the benefits gained from a co-located institutional and operational force on the same installation is proving advantageous to developing our leaders. And the education does not end once these soldiers leave Fort Gordon. To ensure we are on target, we are building in assessment and improvement through a continuum of learning. Continued learning at home station is available through 11 regional signal training sites, formerly known as signal universities, with standardized quality of training, governance, and a persistent link to TRADOC, providing field commanders flexibility in meeting operational requirements. As the pace of change in cyberspace forces us to stay relevant in education and training, it also drives frequent updates to concepts and doctrine. The Cyber Center of Excellence is currently exploring potential to leverage crowdsourcing techniques to increase inputs to new and revised doctrine. Updates to Field Manual 6-02, which talks about signal support to operations, and ATP 6-02.70, which talks about spectrum management operations, were published last September. And we are currently working on a full revision of FM 3-12, which is cyberspace and electronic warfare operations, along with ATPs for offensive and defensive cyberspace operations. While growing and educating our force is critical, we must also provide those soldiers and units with the equipment, the best equipment they require to do their jobs. We are leveraging new ways to accelerate equipment fielding to the force. We do this in part through demonstrations, experimentation, and prototyping, commonly referred to as DEMP. Fully integrated with Army Futures Command, we have aligned signal, electronic warfare, cyberspace, and operations in the information environment concepts, experimentation, and modernization with training, doctrine, and force structure development. There is a lot of heavy lifting ahead of us, and this partnered approach has helped and will continue to help us in accelerating the validation of force design updates, of concepts, and of doctrine informed by tactics, techniques, and procedures. If you want to learn more about how we rapidly refine requirements and experiments, come to Fort Gordon and visit our CyberQuest Distinguished Visitor Day. CyberQuest is a prototype assessment conducted in an operationally relevant environment to identify innovative technologies across cyber, electronic warfare, and signal, and is hosted annually by the Cyber Center of Excellence. Now, let me spend a few minutes to share some new and emerging electronic warfare capabilities specific to the brigade combat team. Army modernization efforts have prioritized the reintroduction of tactical electronic warfare capability to enhance the lethality of the Stryker, armor, and infantry brigade combat teams alike. As this electronic warfare capability is fielded, recognize that the growth and reorganization will benefit the brigade combat team by providing new capabilities organic to the BCT. A BCT asset capable of providing effects focused on adversarial communications and sensors such as combat information for kinetic targeting, disrupting adversary capabilities, and hurting adversary communications for better exploitation by our SIGINT partners. The first is the Terrestrial Layer System BCT, or TLS BCT, which replaces Prophet and enables the brigade combat team to hunt adversary communication and radar systems. Starting in 2023 and completing in 2028, each BCT commander will receive 6 Terrestrial Layer System, or TLS vehicles, which are designed to operate in pairs. Each TLS vehicle will carry 4 electronic warfare and MI soldiers from the BCT Military Intelligence Company. Stryker BCT commanders will receive the double V-hole Stryker variant. Armored BCT commanders will receive the AMP-V variant, and an IBC T variant is under development but has not yet been selected. Each TLS vehicle is equipped with multiple conformal antennas and dismount kit, capable of direction finding, of geolocation, of exploitation, and of disruption of adversary communications and radar signals. In addition to signals intelligence and electronic attack, TLS will provide BCT commanders with the ability to conduct other types of information warfare, including radio broadcast, SMS, MMS delivery, and cyberspace effects operations. As a bridging strategy to full TLS fielding, the Army is currently delivering Tactical Electronic Warfare Light, known as TOOL, and Tactical Electronic Warfare System, known as TEWS, to select Infantry Brigade Combat Teams and Stryker Brigade Combat Teams, respectively, as well as the dismounted VMAX and VROD systems via an operational needs statement. The Army is also developing an organic airborne electronic warfare capability for the BCT, which will provide additional range and maneuverability. Multifunction electronic warfare air, small, or MFU air, small, will deliver an electronic warfare payload for the Class 3 future UAS, which replaces the RQ-7 Bravo Shadow. Division Combat Aviation Brigades will receive a similar payload called Multifunctional Electronic Warfare Air, or MFU Air Large, for the Class 4 Gray Eagle unmanned aerial system. Another capability is Electronic Warfare Planning and Management Tool, or EWPMT. The EWPMT will be fielded between 2023 and 2025 and will provide BCT, cyberspace and electromagnetic activity sections, or CEMA sections, with the ability to plan and task TLS and MFU systems. During operations, TLS and MFU will output targeting, that's target type, circular area probability, or CEP, and timestamp, and engagement data directly into the BCT mission command systems and AFATADs. EWPMT also provides the BCT commander the ability to visualize the BCT's electromagnetic spectrum, or EMS footprint or signature. With this situational awareness, the commander can manage risk through a missions control posture, as well as integrate EMS deception techniques. Many units have already received a version of EWPMT through an operational needs statement fielding. As we look to the future, we continue to widen our aperture and encompass operations in the information environment while designing the Army's conceptual framework for information advantage activities. Once again, on behalf of the Cyber Center of Excellence, I want to thank you for taking the time to visit our presentation, and I hope that we have provided you with an appreciation for what our Signal and Cyber Corps contribute to the fight, both today and in the future. There's no question that our soldiers and our Army is and always will be the best in the world. We stand ready to face adversity, whether here on the home front, challenging the pandemic and civil unrest, or abroad, addressing our adversaries' new and evolving threats. Our soldiers and our Army, embodied by a shared set of core values, has historically led change for our nation. I am confident we will prevail. I am also confident we are addressing the threat, and confident that by teaming with our partners in government, in industry, and in academia, our full spectrum cyber, electronic warfare, and signal capabilities will enhance the Joint Forces' ability to operate across multiple domains and prevail in large-scale combat operations. We encourage you to take advantage of the provided contact link to send your questions, concerns, and most important, your good ideas to our team, and I will personally look forward to reading your feedback. Enjoy the rest of the conference. Army strong, people matter, victory starts here.